You started like 10 plus product and 2 out of them became like super hits.
We created and launched like 10 different products in the 4 months. When we got to the e-defense products, it took off right away. We knew that this one was different. It could have been up to 10 million. We got 8 million out of the deal.
You failed at a grand level. There were many failed startups. There was even one where you kind of faced bankruptcy. Is that right?
It's crazy how it feels good when you are able to create a big team and raise money. Like you feel you have made it, and it's so fake. We had all signals green except people wasn't paying. I was burning so much cash and I had to close the start. He got up to 25% of the product at the product level. If someone ever acquired the product, he would get 25% of the acquisition amount related to it. Instead of pushing and enforcing your ideas, you want to make sure that your ideas are the right ones. Picking your market better more than your own skills.
Welcome to Edbound with Kinner Tibo. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
So happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Wonderful. Now you have a story that is so unique. You failed at a grand level. I think what I read, and this is, please correct me if I'm wrong and tell me how this turnaround happened. I read that there were many failed startups before you kind of launched so many products and got them to double-digit million exits. There was even one where you kind of faced bankruptcy. Is that right? Could you kind of throw a little bit light on your journey broadly?
Yeah, I went through a couple of failures in my early career. Basically, I wanted to work into education. Like I really wanted to make a difference with kids, provide some very high quality educational tool. And the thing is, when you want to do that, everyone around you will tell you that it's a wonderful idea. Everyone is going to support you. Everyone will push you to do these kind of things. The issue is it's very hard to earn money in this space. Very hard. And so we created a product, hired a big team, we raised money, I went through a Kickstarter. We had all signals green. It was going very well, except people wasn't paying and we weren't able to generate revenue. It's crazy how it feels good when you are able to create a big team and raise money. Like you feel you have made it. You succeeded. And it's so fake, It's so fake because the product is not really working actually, and you're not getting revenue. And so in the end, I was burning so much cash and I had to close the startup.
How much did you raise, by the way, for this education startup?
For the first one, I think it was just like a 200K.
Okay.
And the second one, it was
Okay.
500K over like 2 years, I think.
All right. So that kind of is a lesson that isn't an easy one to take for most people, but you just didn't bounce back. You kind of started like, if I hear this correctly, about 10 plus product and 2 out of them became like super hits. Is that right?
Yeah, I basically tried to do the exact opposite of what I did, which is instead of hiring a big team, raising money, and then focusing on the product later, we kind of reversed that in a way where we tried to create and ship one product every week until we would start earning real money. And that went pretty well. Like it was super intense. I think during 4 months, we created and launched like 10 different products. And some of them were really average. Like it was very simple product, just one core feature every time. One of them grew to like 300 per month. Like another one grew to 500 per month. But when we got to the e-defense product, that was TweetHunter, it took off right away. Like it was different and we could feel it because we had all those other examples of how it went. We knew that this one was different and that it was able to attract a lot of attention. Like we had nailed something.
Yeah, this is pre-AI vibe coding era, right? I mean, people
Yeah,
weren't vibe coding
totally.
at that point. So
Yeah, building something was so much slower.
I mean, now if you told me you were doing this in 25 and second let's say the third or the fourth quarter, or now, I would get it. But I think kudos. This is just something that I haven't heard of quite often. And I know TweetHunter took off, and then you had Taplio, right? Which is a product that even I had used for a while. I think you kind of really grew those well, and you were using the machine yourself. So, what changed? Why do you think that change kind of came through?
I think when you looked at the Twitter space at the time, it was 2021. Uh, things were kind of stagnating. It was the very beginning of the booming creator economy. That was COVID time also, by the way. A lot of people were getting fired. A lot of people also start getting it into AI. It was the very beginning of AI. So all that together, people were starting to create their own business more and more. People were going into freelancing position instead of the classic 9 to 5. So all this together, it was creating the perfect moment for a product dedicated to Twitter to help them market and talk about what they're doing on Twitter and getting their first sales. And so that's why it took off so rapidly. It was the first tool around there who was not about only to schedule content on Twitter, but also to like help you come up with much, much better content, organize this content, convert the impression into real sales and actually run your business on Twitter. That worked very well. And the recipe works so well that we try to replicate this strategy on LinkedIn, but always with the approach of having one product dedicated to one platform. That was the thing that we really thought was real. If you want to perform at a very high level, you need to be fully focused on one platform and only one platform.
When you were doing this, what were your numbers like in terms of distribution on Twitter and LinkedIn?
That's a fun question because like everyone like when you look at my Twitter account right now, you can see like I have 180,000 followers, and so people feel like it's very easy to start a new product when you have that following. That was definitely not the case when I started. Like I had K followers, and I think like 99% of them were like dormant bots or I don't know, like basically every like during the first 3 to 6 months, every time I was tweeting something, it was like talking to a wall. Like I had like sometimes I had one like, most of the time I had zero, or maybe just myself liking my own content. Like it was
I
it was
get
like
it.
it's basically like everyone else when you start being serious about Twitter. Like at the very beginning, you are starting from zero. So I did two things that helped. Like I spent a lot of time trying to understand Twitter, like what works, what doesn't work. TweetHunter was like a product for myself in the first place. Like how can I come up with great content? I was using TweetHunter myself every day to try to come up with better content. And the second thing that we did is when TweetHunter started to take off, we reached out to many big Twitter persons, like Twitter influencers. And one of them had this incredible reaction where he wanted to be in the product. That was super unexpected, but we got him at the co-founder level. And this guy, like the the relationship between us builder and him distribution guy like influencer on Twitter, it was super relevant, and it worked so well that we when we started Taplio on LinkedIn, we actually looked to replicate this exact strategy on LinkedIn, and we looked for a LinkedIn influencer to partner with to help us distribute the tool there.
Wow, this is brilliant. I mean, I didn't know about this angle. So how many followers did that guy have, and what equity did you offer him?
It was not crazy huge. Like I think he had something like K followers, but he was growing very rapidly, and he was promoting the exact method that we were facilitating with TweetHunter. His entire idea was like, if you want to be serious about Twitter, you need to create your own swipe file, which is basically an inspiration file of the best
Hmm.
content that you can relate to. You will keep them, you will
Hmm.
look at them, and just by
Yeah.
looking at this wall of content, you will come up with your own and better ideas. And this is exactly what TweetHunter was doing, creating for you this wall of content that is relevant for you, that you can get inspiration from to come up with your own content.
Yeah, I get it. So, I mean, what kind of equity did you give him? Because that a lot of people who listen to us are early stage founders. So, for a distribution deal like that, I'm like super curious if it's okay to now talk about it in the
Yeah.
public.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot. Like he got up to 25% of the
Okay.
product at the product level, not at the company level. So it wasn't
Okay,
really,
because you were doing multiple products.
yeah, exactly. So it wasn't equity in the sense of like company equity, but
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
we kind of mimic this with like a product shares, saying that he would get 25% of all the profits related to this product. And if someone ever acquired the product, he would get 25% of the acquisition amount related to this product, which,
And I
by the
think
way,
you,
happened. Like,
yeah, I know, I know. I think you sold it for what, $10 million, or was it more?
it could have been up to 10 million,
Okay.
but it was heavily linked to a big earnouts. So like a very big, it was this like 2 years where we had very high milestones. We had actually 6 milestones to achieve, revenue goal to achieve during the 2 years transition period. And we achieved like 5 out of those 6 milestones. So we got 8 million out of the deal instead of the 10 that we could have achieved.
Oh, brilliant. I think he kind of struck a brilliant deal, right? I mean, at the end, that's what matters. And I think you, what you're saying is you repeated something similar with Taplio as well. So you partnered with
Yeah.
someone on LinkedIn and you gave a heavy chunk of equity, almost similar, 25%.
Yeah, kinda. A little bit more in this deal, but like because there were 2 persons instead of one. But yeah, we kind of replicate this exact strategy, and we sold both tools like TweetHunter and Taplio to the same company.
Yeah, I think I have a few questions about that as well, because that was one of your friends from high school, right? I mean, the company sale was done to Lemlist, the same group that kind of runs Lemlist. Is that right?
Yeah, true. Like it's insane. We were prospecting about this acquisition. Like we talked to people like HubSpot, like very big companies, some companies in India too. And in the end, it's crazy that just normal lunch with this old friend, we started
Hmm.
talking about this acquisition, and he told me that yeah, he could be into that. And so we started talking more. And I think over 2 weeks on WhatsApp, just by talking like this, we found the deal and we just made it happen.
Wow, wow, this is such a great story. But there are so many pieces to this that a lot of founders would not relate to, because this is so not the usual VC playbook that gets sold out there anywhere else in the world. You were doing two startups and actually multiple other products in parallel, and you saw two took off, right? Was Taplio and Tweet Hunter happening at the same time, exact same time, or was there a gap in between?
Not really. Like we started with TweetHunter. TweetHunter took off and then was like, okay, TweetHunter took off. There is this huge opportunity on LinkedIn too. How can we get there? Like, should we integrate LinkedIn into TweetHunter? But hey, TweetHunter has like tweets in the name. So what do we do with that?
Mm.
And finally, we decided to create a new products. Like we basically copy pasted the code base from TweetHunter to create Taplio. What's
And
insane is that we did that very early, and during like 4 months, nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. I got like 5 customers, and Twitter was like growing so much that it was taking way too much of our time. And so finally, after 6 months, and I think after having like a very good conversation with a potential influencer in the LinkedIn space, we made it happen. Like we spent way more time on LinkedIn, and it was such a right decision because in the end, like during the transition period, after we got acquired, Top Hero being, I think, 2 to 3 times bigger than Tweet Hunter. And I hear the story so often. Like the first product that you create, it took off, but then create another product, like you find a better niche, you find a better space where you realize like it's easier to provide value, and in the end, the other product that you create later is going to perform than the first one.
Yeah, this is I mean, there are so many things that we want to learn from that. So, what's the playbook if somebody is trying to do exactly what you did? Now, how big was the team? What are the exact steps that somebody should kind of take if they are trying to? Let's say I won't even go to two products. Like, let's just talk about a single product if they're trying to make it fly, right? PLG. What are the steps that somebody has to follow?
So TweetHunter was running with a very small team, and I think you can even run it with a even smaller team right now with like how AI
Yeah.
has become so good. I think the fundamental thing that people don't get right is they need to make sure that they work on the right thing. And by that I mean it's so
Hmm.
easy to fall into this trap. And I went through that twice in my life. I spent 2 years twice working on a product where I was not getting revenue. I was just convinced it was the right product, but I wasn't getting a real proof that it was worth my time. And the early phase of TweetHunter and Taplio, like those time where we were iterating very fast, putting the product in the hands of real users, having daily conversation with them, hearing them about like what they like, what they didn't like. This is the gold phase. Like this is the most important time where you quickly iterate until you hit something that provide real value and is different enough from the competition. So you start knowing that this product is worth your time.
Wow, that is profound, man. I think that's so it's so counterintuitive because a lot of people would find a pain, start solving it, and then believe that they have a great product at hand. So let's just peel another layer from it. Did you choose the product because you were solving it for yourself, or is there any other method that you prescribe for people to choose that product that they believe is going to fly? Even before they start looking at the response from the market, how do you decide this is what I'm going to build?
That's a very good question because I think there are two ways to do things differently. There are people who have like a very deep industry knowledge, and so they know that in this space, people are having this issue, and if you solve this issue, you're going to provide like huge amount of value. And you have like you can have a conviction based ID and spend like so much time on this ID, even if you don't have validation. But in this case, like it's very rare to have this kind of very high industry knowledge, especially when you start out like right after college or after school. The other scenario, which is like much more classic, is just trying to solve your own problems. And this is basically what I did. Like I was quickly realizing that every sales that I had on every single one of my product was related to Twitter. And so I wanted to grow my Twitter following. That was super important to me, like growing my Twitter following. And so by building Twitter, I was trying to solve my own problem first. I was trying to come up with a solution to help me create better content. And by using the tool every day I was fixing the little stuff on the app, the little friction in
Hmm.
order to make it perfect. And that's still in my playbook, by the way. Like I'm still a heavy user of every single one of my products, which is why I think they achieve quite high quality. If you are using your own product, you don't want them to be shitty, right? So this is the
Yeah, and I
basic
think
thing that I would recommend to anyone.
yeah, like solve your own problem. That's something that people usually recommend. I think this is great.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody has figured what they are building the way you're recommending, I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, distribution, you talk a lot about it, and I think you've nailed it not once, multiple times. So let's hear your playbook. If somebody has figured there's this X thing that they're building, what's the next step about distribution that they should look at? And I love the fact that you did not have a huge following when you were doing this on TweetHunter or Taplio on those platforms yourself, and you had those partners. Is that what you would recommend to someone else, or is there a different playbook there?
I have to admit that I absolutely love the collaboration between a builder and a distribution guy. I think it works very well. I'm having a lot of fun. And in my life, what's really interesting is I did both. Like on TweetHunter and I was the builder. I was like coding all day and just focusing on the product. And right now I'm more the distribution guy, and on like Revit, Outrank, SuperX, CoSinker, Feather. I'm spending my time working on how to distribute them. So I can heavily recommend. Like this is really based on my own personality. I love working with someone else. Like I love having conversation and just building on top of the other people's idea and just making our ideas better. But when it comes to distribution itself, what I would recommend doing now is building in public is still something that works incredibly well. Like being active
Mm,
on any social media is an incredible way to know if your ideas are worth pursuing. If you are like when you are launching something, you are not capable of getting some attention on your concept or like your product, it might be because the value is not appealing enough and the pain that you are trying to solve is already solved or is not even worth solving. I see so many products falling into that category. Like they are trying to solve problem that people are not really looking for solution on those problems. It's not obvious. So building in public and having an audience is definitely, I think, the easiest way to go, because you can even start from zero, like exactly like I did on Twitter. Like I started from zero. But building in public and having an audience is not gonna get you super high. Like there is in every single one of my product, I hit this ceiling of like about 10K per month for like in my case, it's a SaaS product, but I found it very hard to go above 10K per month, just relying on my personal brand and
mm,
personal audience. You need to, if you want to go above that, you need to unlock something else. Like, and in my case, it's very often SEO, having
mm,
product-led growth, which
mm,
imply affiliate program, then sponsorships with
mm,
influencers and ads. And so you have those
mm.
four channels that I will explore every single time. And depending on the product, one may be worth pursuing much more than the other. It's highly likely that I will focus on just one or two acquisition channel and put all my energy there. But I will try to explore like the four that I just mentioned.
Wow, makes so much sense. If you were building it again, like, and I know you're building right now as a distributor, if you were coding again, I hear you that focus on the product, find distribution, and have like one channel that you hit right, like SEO or ads and all that you're talking about. Would you consider ever a product that needs a demo and just does not have PLG alone? Is the question clear? That I mean, I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to.
understand the question. Like, so I'm a strong believer that you need to start knowing more about yourself. And so I'm really not
Mm,
a sales guy. Like I'm really not a guy who enjoy having calls with people. I have like a no call policy. Even with my team, we don't do calls. Like I'm meeting so many people who just want to get into a call with me, and I have to refuse so many calls. And so doing cold email and having them on calls where I will try to pitch and sell
yeah.
my product is not really something that I enjoy myself. But it's very different from many other founders who really enjoy this. I know that my sweet spot is selling SaaS products, which cost from 30 to 100 per month.
That was
It's
about
the
what
kind of
Taplio did.
amount. Yeah, exactly. It's the kind of amounts where as a user, you will not ask for a call to get onboarded. It's small enough for you to test by yourself, and even if it's not
Hmm.
good for you, it's okay. But it's high enough so that you have like the incentive to build high quality products. And that was
Hmm.
pretty much my positioning. Like in every single product that I build, I was trying to build the premium product. Very often, like pretty much every single time, we were definitely not the cheapest product. We were most of the time we were in the premium range, competing with all the other like most expensive products. But at the same time, we were trying to build the best products out there. The thinking behind this was like, even if we cost 50 per month instead of 30 at the competition, if the product is like twice better, like 2 times better, there's no question asked. I want the user to choose my product. I want the kind of user who would rather pay a little bit more for a much better product than the other user who will try to optimize the cost of everything. Does that make sense to
By
you?
the way, yeah, no, by the way, your suggestions and the comment that you just had about know yourself before you decide on PLG versus demo is just so brilliant. I'm loving it. I mean, your perspective, and I see the clarity. I mean, and you're set on it, right? I mean, you know that this is how you want to do it, and this will help a lot of people. I speak to so many founders who try and do both, and sometimes they hate the other. Like they don't like to sell, but they get into that. So I kind of get it. I think it makes sense. You're not taking an external angle, but you're looking at yourself and saying, I like PLG. But
Yeah.
PL,
It's. I'm not saying you should not explore everything. Like it's. I think it's a good idea to explore all the acquisition channel, but then it's totally okay to just pick one or two and focus on that.
yeah, absolutely. You sold your company, like multiple companies. That's a sales process. How did you tackle that? And what's the system you built there to pitch your company to all these guys? And you were building a decent pipeline there. I mean, you're mentioning HubSpot and a couple of companies in India as well as in Europe, and then your friend. What was your playbook there?
To be honest, it was not some like crazy thing. Like it looked for a broker, like an US based broker, someone with deep connection who could introduce us to like very high end companies in the US. So that's how we ended up talking with HubSpot and a few other big US companies, like very big agencies there. But it was surprising to see that in the end, it was my personal network which
Hmm.
made it happen. Like we eventually sold to a friend. So it's hard for me to give advice about how to get acquired. I think if you want to get acquired, what's more important is making your company suitable to be acquired, meaning having it not depending only on you, like as a founder, having low churn, like company buying you will always look at your churn. And if they don't do anything, like if acquisition collapsed, how much time until the revenue goes to zero? That's a super important metric. Like, if acquisition collapsed to zero, can they recover their acquisition amounts over something like 5 years? That's something that they will try to make sure of.
Yeah, no, I think that's super honest and I appreciate it. I think I get it that you kind of found the right deal, and you were not trying to be kind of really systematic about it. Appreciate the candid kind of suggestion there that build a company that people want to acquire. I want to kind of go a little fast forward and talk just a few couple of things that a lot of B2B founders are facing right now. So I have had Adam from RB2B and a lot of other guys that operate their build in public playbook, and they do pretty well for that playbook. I think when you're building your brand, let's say from 1,000 followers to larger, you hit a lot of roadblocks. The algorithms are rapidly changing. AI content is being punished. And if you don't do it with AI, I think you're losing a lot of kind of leverage on the table. So let's just hear your step by step for something like that. That if you did speak about build in public, but I want to go a little deeper into that, because I think if anyone could take that playbook out of this conversation, I think they'll have like a real good outcome that they can build for themselves. So how does it look like build in public? Let's just peel a couple of layers there.
I think I'm going to disappoint you there because it's incredibly, I would say simple, not easy, but in the world of I think it's incredibly more important to stay authentic and just talking every day about what's going right and what was surprising when you walk through today. What problem did you have and like how do you solve them? I think what's more like there's at the same time like no silver bullets, but hundreds of small things that you need to get right. But I think the number one thing that people miss the most is the consistency. Like if
Mm,
you look at my X accounts, I don't think that I'm the best around there. There are people who are gonna ship like 10 times more value with their contents, but they do like once a month. If you are there every single day for like many years, like I did, I'm
mm.
pretty sure you will eventually make it. You will make it for sure.
So you're kind of laying all this emphasis on consistency, and I think then also using products like Taplio, I think you build something brilliant where you have that wall, you find your authentic voice, but you also have other people kind of showing you what you love. So it's like sort of a mood board for your thoughts. Would that still kind of work? And then use AI based on, your thought. I mean, you can build all these skills in Claude now and have AI write in your voice, picking from the best ideas that you choose. You think that that could still work for someone?
So even if you can train an AI with your past conversation, it will come weird at some point. If you are like, it's so easy for me and for many other people on X to spot AI replies. Um, if you want to
Yeah.
build like the way X work, and I think it's pretty much the same with every social media, is that you need to build a very strong first cycle, which means like they're gonna be like you need people close from you who wants to support you because not only about your content but because of who you are. Basically, you want internet friends. You want that the first people who will see your content, they will like it even if it's bad, and they will comment
Mm,
because they are your friends. That's what friends do. If you want to build that and you just send AI replies to those people, they will definitely not become your internet friends. So
absolutely.
work on building your very strong first circle of internet friends, support each other with your contents.
Mhm.
And that's the very first step towards like building an authentic and valuable audience on social media.
Yeah, no, that is super super important. I really think that, yeah, a lot of AI answers are like you spot them in your sleep, right? They're pretty bad. So let's go on to the platform question. If somebody is building B2B, and that's what we always focus on at Edbound, do you recommend Twitter or LinkedIn as the primary channel, or would you recommend both to build on?
I Both are going to be very hard. I recommend like because I think that no matter the one you choose, you will need to do it for a long time. I would really recommend picking the one you have the most fun with, like the one you would last longer. Because success is not gonna land in like 2 weeks or 2 months. You will need to
Hmm.
do that a very long time. So you need to enjoy it.
Yeah. Wow, man. Such simple answers. I mean, you don't beat around the bush, do you? Super, super interesting. Okay. I think, yeah, that's fair. But if I still wanted to get your answer on which one is, let's say, easier to crack B2B deals on, if you were doing, let's say, a PLG versus sales. So give me an answer for both. Let's say if somebody was building a product that needed a demo, which platform would you choose first? And let's say somebody was building for PLG, which one would you choose?
So you definitely have much more marketers and salespeople on LinkedIn. I think that's why Taplio took off so well on LinkedIn. It was the best tool to turn a cold audience into a warm audience. Basically, if anyone know you on LinkedIn and you start doing some like cold outreach on LinkedIn, but they already know you, it's much easier to sell. But on X, you have much more AI early adopters, much more founders, like startups, which I love hanging out with. And so that's my go-to place. But like, everyone get to pick.
Yeah, yeah, no, and your first suggestion about what you love, pick what you love, right? I think that's a brilliant one. So, okay, now I think this is the one thing that I ask everyone as a final question. What would be your one single advice for someone trying to get from like 100K to a million ARR, and you have to choose one? Like, what would that be for a founder in that stage?
I think people need to change mindsets between forcing the sales. We all want to enforce our ideas, like we want to push their idea, and we want to convince people that our ideas are actually good. You need to shift this mindset you need to shift this mindset to validation based thinking. Instead of pushing and enforcing your ideas, you want to make sure that your ideas are the right ones.
Wow. Wow.
I
This
think
is
I think this is avoiding spending 2 years on something that is not worth your time, to working on something that is trendy right now and will make you useful, even if you are not the best product out there. It's a combination of so many common advice that you will see around there. Like we'll often tell you that picking your market is the best decision that you can do right now, because picking your market will make you fail or lose, fail or win more than your own skills. If you are trying to create a startup into coffee making right now, it's going to be much harder to make money than creating a startup into AI right now.
Yeah, I think this is so powerful. This is so powerful. No, thank you for that. Thank you. I think I love the clarity. You have almost this Zen like quality of using a few words. They are measured and to the point. I have had almost 40 plus guests on the pod. And let me just tell you, Tibo, I mean, you are like a Twitter talker. I don't know. I mean, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, your
Because I
answers are not
because there
like
are
these are
punchlines,
tweets. Yeah, they're solid punchlines. They're solid punchlines. I don't know if anyone's told you that. You talk like you tweet, right? I mean, so this is brilliant. This is the first time I'm meeting someone who's, or maybe I asked you bad questions and you've written all of the answers in one-liners already.
Yeah, maybe I tweeted about those, and so it's easy for me to recall about what I tweeted, and that's my first answer
Yeah,
when you ask me
it's
anything.
coming out sharp, man. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. There's so much to learn. I really hope we get to do this again. So many things that we could really kind of deep dive into. Would love to find synergies